Hello and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Five Things Friday APAC Edition. Now, you may be seeing that we are missing one person. Yes, Reef is on holiday, which is cool. He's gone skiing in New Zealand, or okay for some. Have you ever been skiing in New Zealand, Laura?
No, I haven't. I should, because it's Queenstown is lovely. It's like the cool place to go skiing.
Okay. So he's hanging with the cool kids.
Yeah.
So why don't we jump into it, Laura? You start, you give us your three today,
Cool.
and then I'll take it from there.
Okay. Hello. My first thing, we've been talking a lot, Alex, about marketplaces. And I want to talk about it because I feel like what we're actually in is we're in death of old style marketplaces. I'm over here because of eBay Australia. They sponsored me. They brought me to Australia. I'm always a big fan of marketplaces. So I like to talk about them. I think we've over-indexed in marketplaces in Australia. We've had a lot of them. And interestingly, the reason why this has came to my attention this week is one of our long-standing marketplaces, which is called MyDeal. It was acquired by the Woolworths Group for 243 million, and they've just announced that it's going to be no more. At the end of this quarter, it will be gone. It's very familiar to Wesfarmers, which is one of the biggest businesses that owns Bunnings and lots of different retail businesses within that arm. They acquired Catch of the Day, which is very similar to MyDeal for similar price point, and that is no longer from the start of the year. So in this year, we've seen two of the long-standing marketplaces go. Now, when I look at it, interestingly, I was on a call to the Iconic. So the Iconic is our equivalent of, I guess, ASOS for anyone in the UK. A pure play fashion business. They've been building a marketplace for 8 years, and they're really doubling down on it. It's a massive part of their strategy now and going forward. And what we're seeing is the traditional type of marketplaces, which, was almost like that commodity search, everything is kind of going, or it's maybe more being pivoted to Amazon and eBay do that, and potentially Shein, some of the Temu kind of taking on that side of things. But the retailers who are having these kind of hybrid approaches to marketplaces are really thriving. So what I mean by that is they have their own products. They've got their own products, they're buying their own brands, but then they're supporting these direct-to-consumer brands to grow. There's another business called Kogan. They sell a lot of electronic goods. They do their own product, and they're going to be quite happy with this situation. I think it's what we're seeing here. I don't know if we're seeing it on other side of the world, but quite heavily saturated in marketplaces. Two of the longest standing marketplaces who have been around, I don't even want to say, but probably 15 plus years, they're gone. They were acquired by massive companies, and I don't actually believe it's a big loss to the massive companies. Have probably pulled some things they want to keep from the tech to really bring that marketplace model back to their own. So Woolies is actually building out, they've got their own kind of version of marketplaces. So potentially, you could almost go, was it strategic to buy them and then run them down? I don't think that was a plan, but I definitely feel it maybe just didn't really add the right value. Death of marketplaces in terms of that old-fashioned, but a resurgence of new type marketplaces really strong. And that is my first point. My second point is I've put in a link to a news article about the sad liquidation of the Mosaic Group, which has a portfolio of brands in it. It has been a bit of a loss to the retail landscape in Australia with 2,800 jobs going. They had a debt of about over 300 million in debt, and it went into voluntary administration last year, and then it just went into liquidation this month. I think what's interesting about this was acquired by private equity in 2014, and it's actually gone through a bit of an investigation. So there's going to be a 2-part documentary on SBS around not necessarily this, but potentially the company that owned it and maybe some of the dealings with their suppliers. So it's a bit of a cautionary tail. Private equity's got a really bit of a name in this side of the world. Maybe that's global, but and they're actually saying that Mosaic Brands, the portfolio been in it, have probably been trading insolvent for about 4 years. Yeah, so the thing is with this as well, the company, the PE that owned it, actually own another group, a group called Alchemy, and they have a portfolio of brands under it. Actually, an arm of that company has went into receivership as well.
It sounds like it's pretty bad news for the supply chain, the workers, the anyone who's in that ecosystem.
Yeah.
I have to. We're sharing, because just so I don't get a copyright infringement, we're sharing images from Sky News on their website. See, this is national news locally. This is quite a big collapse of a major organization.
It is, and I think as well, the fact that you're talking about it going deeper, right? Like it's like everyone's getting looked at a bit closer, from private equity to the C-suite, and it kind of hits home because I'm looking at getting on a board this year as a non-executive director, and at that board level, you're kind of responsible and accountable. And what we're seeing now is potentially, there's an investigation underway, and we're going to see something on SBS about it. Yeah. So it's a really interesting time, and a bit of a cautionary tale, a little bit of a sad story, because these are some of the sweetheart brands of Australian like landscape, from the two businesses. So that's I'll keep you updated on what happens with that.
Sure.
Yeah. So that one is my second one.
So my two are going to be my favorite stores in China. I'm going to just jump straight in. This was a report that we created for a client, looking at 4 specific areas: digital integration, human-centric spaces, sustainability, and cultural relevance. And then as part of that, we took a sort of deep dive into the retail landscape in Shanghai. And one of my favorite stores in Shanghai is Deja Vu. They're a bookstore, they're a fashion store, but the most important thing, they're an online marketplace as well, with 12 million users, selling over 36 million books. And it's all either upcycled, recycled, in that sort of sustainable ecosystem. But the one thing I really, number one, is super cool, because obviously now we're getting into upcycle and recycle, but there's digital integration as well. Why I love this store so much. When you used to go to the library, you used to be able to see all the dates this book has been checked out, because these books are recycled. So you can see the profile of the people that have taken, obviously if they opt in, but you will, that's the reason you do this, because you then start following the types of people that read the types of book that you like. You can reach out to them and say, hey, what was your view of the book? You can also see what they do. And what they do is to sort of keep the community involved and engaged is something called fish points. And fish points aren't necessarily discounts, but they're more interactions. So, for example, there's a latest version 1 or edition 1 of a book coming out. You can use your fish points to get that book. But the whole ecosystem and the store, I can't remember if they've ever got another photo here. This is the fashion bit, which basically you have an Instagram moment on the ground floor. You go in, you go upstairs, it's the bookstore, and then on the store above, it's the fashion again, which is all upcycled, recycled. On these, you don't get to see who had the clothes before, but it's just digital integration with the app, the Fish Points, which has led to it being or Fish Credits for rare things. And then the books, they restore the books. They clean them, they restore them, they put them back together. So there's this sort of whole love affair with books that has been digitized and put online. And they've just moved into fashion. And you can see the numbers are fairly large there. That's one of my favorite stores in Shanghai. The second favorite store in Shanghai is not this one, not Gentle Monster. Let me get to it. Is Brompton. Now, Brompton's a good old bicycle firm based in London who sort of expanded out into the world. The story behind it, if you and I were having a conversation about fold-up bikes, you're like, oh, okay, fold-up bikes, not that engaging, not that interesting. But what Brompton in Shanghai specifically have done is they looked at the profile of the types of people that ride bikes. And I met this lady just by coincidence in Shanghai at Brompton. And her Instagram profile, you can see she loves cycling, but she loves traditional road bikes and she loves her cat. So she loves personalization. And what Brompton have effectively been able to do is open a beautiful shop. But in Shanghai, retail is not just about product. It's about community and engagement. I've said this many times, where what's the point of having a beautiful product if your customers can't come and hang out with you, have a coffee, or get there, have the workshop visible to sort of create that movement. And now you can see the lady on the right-hand side with her customized Brompton and her cat figurine on the front of her bike. Again, she likes to go to the store, hang out, get her bike serviced, have a coffee, and be part of that sort of community. But that's not where it stops. These guys have created a whole movement of taking Bromptons around the world. There's a large community of them, and they go to various cities around Asia, and they cycle the city together from Japan to obviously Beijing. What a masterclass in how you move as an international brand into a new territory, and then you focus on building the community rather than this just beautiful retail stores. And some of these stories that you're sharing about the collapse of retail, in my mind, are these old retailers that are still transactional based, not community based.
I love that, Alex. Like the bookstore one, I was in Westfield talking about that retailer, the experience, like a lot of the mainstream stores not doing anything different, nobody's in them. The busiest shop was a bookstore called Harry Hartog, which is a beautiful bookstore. And when you go in, up the back, there's like some seats, so you can actually you could sit there for 2 hours and read a book. So it's not quite like the Shanghai, but it was the busiest place. It's books. We can get books anywhere. We can get them online. That nostalgia and that the love and the almost want to know who's reading it. It's pretty amazing. And I love even like that, how the way they can fold the bikes away and then they're super cool. I think as well, it's like moving from that, just, these kind of viral moments. I feel like in Asia, a lot of the businesses they're past that now. They're actually building real integration between that community and retail. Whereas what we are still seeing in Australia is a wee bit more of that pop-up viral, try to get that viral, try to get the Instagram, the TikTok, the little bit of content. The Asian countries they're 5 steps ahead. Yeah, well, my last one is related to a conference that I chair in Sydney. It's in 2 weeks. It's called the Online Retailer. I've pinged you the link on it.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll get this up.
But this is the largest e-commerce conference and expo in Australia. Probably, there'll be about 4,000 people coming to it. We've got the expo floor with all the vendors, all the Shopifys, the Klaviyo, the who's who of tech will be there. And then there'll be like the conference, the main stage, and then the breakout stage with lots of content. It's shaping up to be a really good one this year. I think there's a definite need for businesses that are looking a wee bit more. We're kind of over the noise of best in breed tech, and now we're coming back to like people being quite focused on what they need to do within their business. So shaping up to be a really good conference. This is probably, Alex, something me and you spoke about. I would say for any like tech businesses that are, Australia's, we're 28 million people. We're small, right? Like if you were coming over and needed a go-to-market, this is probably one of the good ones to come to. There's a couple of businesses and tech companies that I work with that are actually, they will come over. One of them will have a little stand. The other one will just be coming up to feel the market. So again, I think we've spoke about this a wee bit. There's ways to do go-to-market smart, budgets are tight. We were seeing a lot over just after that COVID boom, the tech boom, where a lot of tech companies were setting up teams here. That's been pulled back. So we're seeing these more satellite teams, more having 1 or 2 people who do the roles of 4 or 5. This conference is ideal for you to come and meet everyone. There's a group of 2 guys that I'm really friendly with. I've set up a little WhatsApp community. I think they've got like about 1,000 people on a WhatsApp chat.
What?
Yeah, just showing you the engagement level where a lot of the
very
brands.
jealous.
Yeah, I know. I'd love, Alex, next year you definitely need to get over to this one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Always up for a trip to Sydney in July. It's your win, right? What's the weather like?
Like, listen, I mean, you're asking a Scottish lassie about the weather. I think it's pretty beautiful. Like today was a little bit chilly, but I'll tell you, like you're talking about 17 degrees is
Okay.
where we're at in that one.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll all have our tops off, all the British people outside, tops off, sun. Yeah.
No. Okay, that looks super cool. And coincidentally, another plug at the Shopify interview that we did, all approved, will be out next week with Bobby, their CRO, which will be exciting. So hopefully we'll put that out and maybe we can talk about it next week. Okay, Laura, I want to be super sensitive to your time. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I look forward to seeing you next week, and Reef will be back.
I'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.